Hello? I'm just gonna shine a light in your eyes, okay?
What are her chances?
The next 24 hours are critical. Have you identified her yet?
No.
At the moment, we don't know who attacked her or why. What we do know is the weapon was a heavy, blunt instrument, probably metal. Any questions?
No, Sergeant.
Right, I want a systematic search of the area, from the street over there to the other side of the railway lines, not forgetting guys at the back, please, to look both over and under the bridge here. Anything you find, no matter what it is, I want to know about it. I'd like the search done properly, please, no mistakes, because at the end of the day, this case may well turn into a murder inquiry. Any questions? Right, guys with the dogs, can you start on the railway line, please? Some of you start the house to house, the rest of you start the ground search, and I'll come and join you in a few minutes.
I don't know what she was doing around a place like this after midnight. She was asking for trouble.
Yeah, well, that's what we're going to find out.
What do you want, Hollis?
Want to CID.
You know as well as I do that property found on the street is a uniform job.
Not if it's the proceeds of a crime.
Oh, yeah? And who says it's the proceeds of a crime?
I do.
Yeah?
Yeah. Intuition, based on experience.
Intuition, my arse. Hand it back to the finder.
But it's been dumped, Sarge. There's no purse, no wallet, no correspondence, nothing to identify the loser.
Get lost, Hollis.
What if it belongs to this woman who's in hospital?
Where was it found?
Wardle Avenue.
Wardle Avenue? That's at least 2 miles from the scene of the crime, for heaven's sake.
You never know.
On your bike, Hollis.
Ted, I just thought...
Look, this is my weekend off. I've already had 3 on the trot cancelled.
That is irrelevant.
It's not irrelevant when you've got a girlfriend who's tired of excuses.
Sorry, I spoke.
Hollis, this job is not the be-all and end-all, you know. Now, for once in my life, I'm putting someone else first. So do yourself a favor. Pick up the bag and lumber some other bod. Reg. Put it on the desk. But if I miss my train, you'd better make yourself scarce, mate.
You've done this before, haven't you?
Hello, sir. Any identification?
No, not really. She's got some nice gear, expensive taste, silk shirt, cost at least 150 up west. And then there's the suit skirt, foreign label, and again, it's stylish and expensive, but it could have been bought anywhere.
Perhaps she's a high-class hooker.
Not according to the doctor.
Now, this one's got a French label. Viv reckons that
It's got an unusual brand mark. Perhaps we could localise the outlet.
I'd have thought if she was straight, someone must realise she's missing by now.
Don't count on it. In this city, you could live for years in a bedsit and never see your neighbours, let alone talk to them. We live in a caring society. Didn't you know that?
Amanda Janes, this is Detective Sergeant Roach, Sunhill Police Station. Listen, I wonder if you could do me a favor. I'm trying to trace the owner of a shoulder bag. Yeah, it's got no identification at all except for a receipt for a pair of shoes. Yeah, bought at your shop. The invoice number is A347125. Thank you, if you wouldn't mind.
Morning, Sarge.
Yeah. Listen, would it be all right if I popped around to your place about an hour's time? Great. Thank you.
2 got probation, 2 got fines. I swear those magistrates are getting worse. If that had been old Wiggins, they would have gone down straight away, no messing. I thought you wanted to get away by midday.
Yeah, so did I, mate.
Well, you're going to be hard pushed to get up to the Lake District by tonight.
You wouldn't do this for me, would you?
Doesn't go with my shoes.
Oh, come on, I'm on a tracer.
Yes, and I'm up to here.
Jarvis? Yeah? Detective Sergeant Roach, Sunhill Police. I understand you handed in the shoulder bag to one of the lads this morning.
Yes, that's right. You found out who it belongs to.
Not yet. Where exactly in the street did you find it?
Oh, I didn't find it in the street. It was in that garden over there. I saw it when I took his milk in.
Somebody lives there?
Oh, yes, Mr. Morgan. I'll show you if you like.
Please do.
He's a cantankerous old so-and-so. Must be in his 80s now. You know, I take him a meal over every day. He doesn't say as much as thank you. Opens the door, snatches it out of my hand, and closes the door again. Wonder why I bother. Hello. Still, you can't just ignore people, can you?
So where did you find it?
Oh. There. Just there.
No idea how it got there, I suppose.
No.
I'd better have a word with the old boy.
Mr. Morgan! Usually takes him some time to get to the door. Mr. Morgan!
Are there any relatives?
Probably, but they never show their faces. Can't really blame them.
Who is it?
It's me, Peggy, from over the road.
What do you want?
There's a policeman here wants a word.
Mr. Morgan, will you open the door, please?
Policemen? They're all dead.
Uh-oh. Mr. Morgan, I need to talk to you.
Go away!
Where's Ted?
On an inquiry.
An inquiry?
Yes, something to do with a bag.
Oh, yeah, I'll bet. He promised me faithfully he'd have those Harris papers done by lunchtime.
He did get in early, Gov. He's been at it since 8:30.
That's what he's paid for.
I'm going to be at least another 20 minutes here, Jim. I suggest when you're finished in the flats, you take the questionnaires back to the DI for check-in before dismissing anyone.
Yeah, sure, Skip.
Can I help you?
Yeah, Detective Sergeant Roach, Sunhill.
Ah, the inquiry about the receipt.
Yeah, any luck?
Yes, can you tell me a little more? I'm not sure I should...
This shoulder bag was dumped in somebody's front garden. I just want to find out who it belongs to so that I can return it to her. It's as simple as that.
A detective sergeant?
Yeah, you're right. Lost property is not part of my job description, but now and again we've all got to make sacrifices. Do you know what I mean?
I was a little puzzled. Concerned, that's all.
There's a lady in hospital who's been brutally attacked. Now, she's unconscious and is fighting for her life. If I knew who she was, I wouldn't be here. Do you understand?
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
So let's start again. The receipt?
Yes, she paid by credit card. All I have on record is this.
P.J. Anderson.
I don't have an address. She wasn't a regular customer. I've asked the staff, but no one can recall her. I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. This should tell me all I need to know. Thank you.
So nobody saw or heard anything?
Well, Mrs. Carley at number 23 distinctly remembers a car accelerating away and a squinting of tyres. It was about 2:30.
And that's all?
Well, I've got to go back this evening. There's a lot of people still at work. But I need some help, though.
Well, maybe Bob can help us out.
Well, there'll be a few modes, but I suppose I could rustle up maybe 5 or 6 off the late turn.
Oh, hold on a sec. He thinks you've been entertaining on expenses.
Well, he would, wouldn't he?
Tread carefully.
You still here?
Shut it, Carver.
So, if we don't get any joy for streets, I'm going to have to widen the house to house.
Tonight?
Yeah, well, it's still fresh in people's minds. Strike while the iron is hot. Ted, what do I have to do? Get you a ball and chain?
I had your best interest at heart, Gov. The lady you got in hospital, expensive clothes, nice gear. I think this may well be her bag. Found about 2 miles from the scene. Everything of value has been nicked. You can handle it, everybody else has.
Any identification?
Yeah. Receipt for a pair of shoes paid for by credit card.
Carsham Credit Company.
Tony Jameson.
Got his number.
Lucky old Ted.
Luck's got nothing to do with it. It's intuition based on experience.
Oh, yeah? Where'd you find it?
In a front garden, Wardle Avenue. I mean, some old geezer wouldn't even open the front door to
Carson
me.
Credit.
We had this crazy
Must be your
conversation
chief
through the
security
letterbox.
officer, please.
The place stank to high heaven. I reckon he's got gangrene.
Look, would you two mind continuing this conversation outside?
I reckon the guy should be put in a home.
What's his name? Morgan?
What, you know him?
Well, if it's the same bloke, yeah, it must be. I thought he died.
He probably did, but nobody told him to lie down.
Ah, he's a police pensioner.
He's never.
Yeah, it's court sergeant, retired early 50s.
Court sergeant? No wonder he's a miserable old sod. Maybe he should be in a home.
Why don't you ask police welfare to go round there?
Because they'd never get in the place.
You don't know how to talk to people, Ted.
Philippa Louise Anderson, Come on, Tip. We're off the yuppie land.
Just a minute, Gov. This is my weekend off. You said I could get away early.
Well, don't you want to find out whether your hunch is right?
Well, of course I do, but I got these case papers to do and a report for the CPS.
So, how long's that going to take you?
Well, long enough. I won't get away early.
Come on.
Not a chance.
Don't I know it?
Tasty.
I could be wrong. We might have the wrong woman.
Well, we'll soon find out. Mr. Anderson?
No. Who are you?
We're police officers. Detective Inspector Burnside, Detective Sergeant Roach.
And you are?
Robin Granger. What's happened?
I was under the impression a Philippa Anderson lived here.
Yeah, I'm her boyfriend. Can you tell me what this is all about?
Can we come in, or are we holding you up?
Oh, no. She's not in trouble, is she?
Why should she be in trouble?
No reason. Can you tell me what's happened to her?
When did you last see her?
Last night.
I think you better come with us, sir.
I can't believe it. Are you sure it's Pip?
Tell me what happened.
I think clearly.
Well, let's try, shall we? We went out to dinner.
Pip was wound up. She'd had problems at work. She'd lost an important client, and her boss told her she was losing her grip.
Would it have upset her so much?
On top of that, Pip wants me to get a divorce, and we argued about that.
And you continued the row in the car on the way back to her apartment. Is that right?
Yes, she demanded I get a divorce. She wouldn't listen. What could I do?
So she told you to stop the car?
Yeah. I didn't know where we were, and she didn't care. She just slammed the door and stormed off.
Then what happened?
I went home. To my wife.
Meet us round the other side.
Any unit with the I Burnside on board, acknowledge please. Yes, Greg, over.
Alistair, this is Ted. Burnside is indisposed at the moment. Can I help? Over.
Only to say we're more or less finished here, except for a few house-to-house which can't be done until this evening. Just wondered what you wanted us to do next, really. Over.
I'd go back to the factory once you've finished. Oh, by the way, for your information, we've identified the lady and have a suspect.
I'm sorry.
Go away!
How you doing, George?
Who are you?
Bob Cryer.
Babu?
Bob Cryer.
Well, I don't know you. Go away.
Come on, George. I know it's been a long time, but it's not been that long. Come on, George. You remember me. Get in.
Why like that? Why?
Don't you see any of the youngsters off the beat round here, then?
What? Riding about in cars. They're too busy to worry about me.
Well, I get them calling on you.
Mind you, in my day, we had to walk the beat. Yeah. And at regulation speed, did you know that?
That's when a copper was a copper.
Yeah. And you weren't allowed to stand in an idle and listless manner, nor to gossip.
Not like that now.
And on no account were you to accept a drink, not from anybody whatsoever, because it was discreditable. One offence and out.
What about upstairs?
upstairs. I thought, yeah, I managed.
Look, George, you know we got a welfare department.
No, I don't want any busybodies poking their nose in it. If that's what you've come for, you can bagger off.
Mr. Granger, you are here in connection with the murder of Philippa Anderson. I'm going to ask you some questions. You're not obliged to say anything
I
unless...
can't believe this!
Don't you miss the comradeship of the job?
Comradeship? My old mates are all dead. Well, aren't you going to have one?
I don't think the tea bag will stand it.
Oh.
Look, George, I can't leave you like this. I'm going to have to do something about you.
No.
Now, look, you're not being very helpful. At least let me get someone from welfare in here.
I'm not going in a home.
Oh, so that's what it's all about.
Not going to spend my last days in one of those places. When I die, I want to die here.
When she demanded that you stop the car for her to get out, why didn't you stop immediately?
She said it in a fit of temper. She didn't mean it. She was like that.
So why did you change your mind?
I decided to call her bluff.
So you went past the railway station and turned off down the back doubles?
Yeah.
Where no one would see you?
That's not true.
Well, it is very dark. Badly lit. Hardly the most salubrious part of London to drop your girlfriend off.
I didn't think she'd get out of the car. I honestly didn't think she would.
PC Carver enters interview room. So you watched her run off? Or did you?
I don't know what you mean.
Did you follow her in the car?
No. Look, I've told you I turned the car around and went home to my wife. Look, I know it doesn't put me in a good light, but that's the way it was.
Did you love your wife?
At one time, yes.
That was before you fell out.
I don't know what you mean.
On the 23rd of July 1990, your wife was admitted to hospital with abdominal and facial injuries. You were interviewed by the local police. Unfortunately, your wife changed her mind and refused to give evidence against you. Is that correct? I want you to get Greg to go round his house, see his wife. I want to know what time he got home. And I want the clothes he was wearing last night. And I want his car towed in. Get the lab boys to go over it with a fine-tooth comb. We're badly in need of a forensic tie-up here, Ted. Otherwise, we're going to have to kick him out.
Right.
I hear we've got a suspect.
Yep, my boyfriend.
Quickest result he's had in a while.
So, she wasn't mad then?
A lover's tiff.
Nice one. Drinks on the DI tonight, then.
Got a job for you lot.
How long are you going to keep me here?
Until I've eliminated you from the inquiry. Or I'm satisfied that you...
I didn't do it.
What were you doing in Philippa's apartment this morning?
I decided to collect my things and return the key. I felt it was all over.
You could have been removing all the evidence that could connect you with her.
Why? You would have found out sooner or later she was having an affair.
That is possible. After she got out of the car, you followed her.
No.
But you've already said you didn't want the affair to end.
Yeah, I didn't follow her.
Why not?
Sit down.
I decided to teach her a lesson.
Some lesson, Mr. Granger.
I didn't do it. I loved her.
Why'd you take her shoulder bag?
I didn't.
Maybe it contained something that would connect you with her. Or did you want to try and make it look like a mugging?
No. No!
I'll give the welfare a ring, shall I?
No, listen to that. I'm not promising anything. I'm not having any women telling me what to do.
We'll see. Look, why don't you just sit there and I'll see myself out?
Bob, I saw them, you know.
Saw who?
The ones that your mate wanted to know about. Yeah, your mate, they came banging in my door like a lunatic.
What do you mean, Sergeant Roach?
Yeah. They were in a white car with a brown stripe. I'm not as senile as you think. One of the stoplights was smashed. It should give you a clue.
What are you talking about?
The youngsters. Who threw that handbag into my garden?
Peter, put this gentleman on ice for a while, will you?
Yeah, sure.
Sit down.
Right. Name. Granger. Robin Granger.
Bit of a state, isn't it?
Where did you pick this up?
An hour ago.
Was it nicked?
Yeah, false plates. Two of you lot caught up with it this morning. Had a bit of a chase by all accounts, wrote off a few parked cars.
Tony, that white motor out there.
Yeah, bought it this morning.
Why?
Why? Because it was nicked.
And what put you onto it?
We came up behind it at traffic lights. Steve noticed it only had one brake light, so we decided to give it a pull. He shot off like a bat out of the hill and crashed 3 or 4 motors.
Frank?
It was a straight nick, Sarge.
What's the problem?
So where are they now?
Down the cells.
Any form?
Look, Bob, I'm a very busy man. What's this all about?
Just a second.
2 for City Roads ground, 1 from our manor. All got convictions for robbery. Do you want me to go through each one?
What kind of robbery?
Muggings.
What's that got to do with us?
That shoulder bag you had? Did it belong to the woman in the hospital?
Yeah.
Well, while you've been chasing around and trying to solve your crime, the culprits have been banged up in the neck.
How'd you make that out?
Morgan, the man you went to see this morning? Should have spent a bit of time with him, had some patience.
What are you talking about?
He's not as dozy as he seems.
Come on.
I've never felt so degraded in my whole life.
You should be pleased. We're not going to charge 3 youths with Philippa's murder. Doesn't that give you some sort of satisfaction?
You were convinced I killed her, and I'll never forget that. You treated me like a common criminal.
You're forgetting one thing, Mr. Granger. It was you who abandoned Philippa. You dumped her in a part of London I wouldn't leave a dog in. You stuck yourself in the frame. So don't give me any of that pious crap about being victimised.
Sign here. Now, you haven't had the last of this. I'm going to sue you for every penny you've got.
Nice one, T. Good boost to the clear-up rate. Mind you, as Bob said, if you had been a bit more patient with Morgan, you wouldn't have had all this aggravation.
Well, I wasn't, and now I'm late. Is it all right if I get off now?
What about all that paperwork?
Good result, eh, son? You see? Intuition based on experience.
Morning, sir. Morning. Morning, Jim.
Morning, sir.
Morning, sir. Morning, Hollis.
Oh, good morning, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's failing to stop after an accident.
Well, he sort of stopped, but then he drove off again before I could say anything.
Yeah, that is failing to stop after an accident, sir. Did you happen to get his number at all?
I didn't get the chance.
Well, look, if you'd kindly fill out this form here, and here, and here, and I'll get an accident book.
Duty state, Hollis?
Actually, Inspector Monroe did check it at the start of the day, sir.
Yes, I'm sure he did. No, I'm checking.
Oh, yes, sir.
Property phone book, please, as well.
Oh, that is always kept up there.
Thank you. I'll let you have them back within the hour.
Oh, thank you, sir. Now then, sir, would you like some help with it?
Well, I'm seeing all the inspectors over the next couple of days this morning.
Where's that?
Starting with Andrew, if I can catch him before he comes off shift, so be about with him.
And what's this about?
Well, just a general tightening of standards, you know, duty state, property phone book, you name it. Things are not exactly what they should be.
Mr. Monroe's quite thorough, isn't he? Well, he's going to single anyone out. I'd have thought they killed him.
Bob, you and I both know who's responsible. But if I don't read the right act to all of them, the guilty ones will start bleating about victimisation, like kids with sweets.
Well, I can't say that, can I?
Oh, well, that's why I want you about. When the others start complaining, you can tell them it's not personal, right?
Look, I'm just trying to do you both a favour, right?
Yeah, well, thanks for the advice, Reg, but I ain't done nothing out of order.
You don't have to, do you? Look, he's been having a nose around, right? It's obvious he's about to have a pop.
Customer, Rich.
Yeah, just a teak, Squire. Look, he has a go at Monroe, Monroe has a go at us, right? It's a pecking order. Be warned.
If Marilyn passes any of the excrement in my direction, I am passing it back. And I'm seeing Bob cry. He'll stick the knife in if it's needed.
You won't get anywhere with him. He's playing a different game now, isn't he?
Yeah, all right, mate.
Oh, dear. Look, I better sort this. Look, watch your backs, right? And pass it round. Now then, sir. You have a problem, do we, sir?
No problem. I have an appointment with Mr. Brownlow.
Yeah, what's your name, please, sir?
Alan Fuller.
He's the last bloke you expect as Fed rep when you think about it.
No, I don't know. He pokes his nose into enough unwanted places, doesn't he?
I mean, what's he going about the property book for? I ain't even seen Munro today.
He didn't say the property book.
Weren't you listening?
I thought he said the duty state.
Well, what's up?
I've got to go back to the section house.
What?
You remember that disco we got in last week as Reggie's record player packed up? For the party, yeah? Well, I borrowed it.
Not the one from the...
Yeah, the one from the...
You Burke.
But you were supposed to be sorting out the music. I was sorting the nurses. Now, what happened to your contribution, eh?
I told you
I had to get something in, didn't I?
George, calm down.
I've got to ditch it, haven't I?
I don't think that's a good idea, George. If I were you, just put it back.
If you'd like to wait in his office.
Fine.
I'm sorry for the delay. He shouldn't be much longer.
Thank you.
You got something to do, Hollis?
Oh, yes, I have.
Good. Mr. Fuller.
Alan Fuller. Thanks for agreeing to see me.
That's all right. If you, could come straight to the point, I'd be obliged. Only I've a rather hectic schedule to get through.
Of course. Well, as you know, I'm leading an investigation into allegations of corruption within the Metropolitan Police. Now, as far as I or anyone else is concerned, this conversation is entirely informal. Obviously, if I didn't think you could help me, I wouldn't be here.
We are talking about events that took place 16 years ago,
17, to be exact. May to October 1974.
I stand corrected.
I did notice one or two of the newspapers mistook the date.
I must read the wrong ones.
Look, if it'll help put you at your ease, you do understand that...
I understand that I'm personally not the subject of this inquiry, yes. Would you like a coffee?
Thank you. At the time the alleged incidents took place, you were a detective constable in the CID stationed at Hillingdon.
Yes?
A position you held for just over 2 years, from November 73 to January 76.
Yes?
What made you go back to uniform?
Is that relevant?
Well, it just interests me that a detective with as much promise as you evidently possessed should decide against a career in CID.
I decided I was temperamentally better suited to uniform.
Even though you could...
Look, I think my present rank is proof enough that I made the right career decision, don't you?
Oh, I don't doubt the wisdom of the move, at least not in the long term. Let's talk about the Robinson murders. You remember the case?
Aspects of it, yes. I only had a peripheral role in the inquiry.
And what was your role, exactly?
Well, I was one of the first police officers called to Denham Avenue, to the scene. I was night duty CID at the time.
So you did what you could to make sure the area was secure and sterile, contacted Forensic and Socco, and got the DI out of bed, and basically left as much as you could to him.
I carried out my duties in full as the first CID officer on the scene.
Yes, quite. But the DI arrived that night, May the 5th, 1974, and looked after things from there.
Yes.
Detective Inspector Peter Mowbray. You remember his two associates on the case? Detective Sergeant Ian Henderson and Detective Constable John Davis?
Yes. Yes, I remember.
Of course you'll remember, or you'll have read, that within 6 days of the murders, 2 brothers, Colin and Douglas Wilson, were charged and later convicted. Sentenced to life in October 74. Still inside. And now serious questions are being raised about Inspector Mowbray's conduct of the case.
Yes, well, I don't have an opinion about that, I'm afraid.
No? Well, there are plenty of people outside the job who do have opinions about what Mowbray was up to. The DPP, the Court of Appeal, journalists, MPs, you name it. Of course, Peter Mowbray doesn't have an opinion now either. You do know he's dead.
Yes, I had heard.
So whatever happens as a result of this inquiry, at least Mowbray's beyond worrying.
If you don't mind me saying so, that's a very cynical remark to make.
You haven't read the files.
He's unable to defend himself.
You could say that. But one way or the other, dead or alive, I wouldn't fancy Peter Mowbray's chances.
Chief Super okay, is he? Do what? No, I mean in himself, you know. He's not looking off colour recently or anything. Reg, I'm the duty sergeant, not his GP. I turned a whiter shade of pale myself when I saw that bloke, Fuller. He's internal investigations, isn't he? South Yorkshire.
And someone else.
No, I read about it in here somewhere. Oh, no. Where is last month's copy of the police review?
Hello. I gather the chief suit was gone in for the relief inspectors, is it right?
Yeah, if you've got a minute. It's been binned.
In May 1974, you were assigned to an investigation with DS Rutherford. Can you tell me about that?
It was a long-haul fraud case. It took several months to complete.
Did you see much of Mowbray, Henderson or Davis at that time?
Well, Mowbray was my DI, so naturally I liaised with him. As you know, I was otherwise engaged.
Hillingdon was being refurbished around then, wasn't it?
May have been.
Requiring CID to relocate office space to porter cabins. You shared one with Mowbray, Henderson and Davis.
I can't remember the exact date, but...
May to July 1974. So you did see quite a lot of them.
I've just told you I was working on another case.
Yes, but you were also living at the section house at that time, weren't you?
Yes. Yes, that's just before I got married.
Davis was also at the section house. In fact, he had a room next to yours.
Only for about 6 weeks.
8. John Davis was your friend, Mr. Brownlow, isn't that right?
Yes.
You still in touch with him?
Yes, John still is a very good friend of mine.
You see, with Mowbray dead, things could be much more difficult for him and Henderson.
What are you talking about, difficult?
Well, they get accused of wrongly imprisoning 2 men for 17 years. We have an inquiry and say, yes, we have the man responsible. Unfortunately, he's dead. You do understand that all I'm trying to do is make sure your friend, Davis, comes out of this in one piece.
Traffic cones.
Do what?
Why could someone picking some up?
No, that's you're picking up traffic cones.
Well, what's wrong with picking up traffic cones? It's a perfectly good...
who's going to ask? Now, look, you've already got the van booked out.
Yeah, son. Something serious going on upstairs.
Yeah, we heard. Thanks for letting us know, Rich.
Oh, you seen him then, Fuller?
Who?
Alan Fuller. He's up there now with a big white sheet. Now it's got to be trouble.
Leave it out, Rich.
Mowbray must have been unapproachable to a young DC like yourself. Davis was your friend, and yet you never discussed it with him.
No, not really.
Why not? I mean, there must have been a reason. A murder like that doesn't happen every day, thank God. Derek Robinson and his grandson, Simon, surprised 2 burglars who blew them away in cold blood, stealing what they could find, trinkets and money. I remember the headlines myself. I remember the feelings of outrage and horror. You must have been closer to it than anyone. You saw the bodies.
Well, I'm inclined to cut myself off from things like that. I was just grateful not to be involved any further.
So you never gave it any thought? Not even a casual, how's it going, over a pint?
No, not a casual anything. None of the people I worked with took murder casually.
No? All right. But when news went round the station that 2 men had been arrested...
I probably expressed my feelings of relief together with a lot of other people.
Oh, come on. They were cracking open the scotch. These men had been hunted down and put behind bars where they belonged. Why not have a celebration? But all you did was express your feelings of relief.
All right, I probably had a couple of drinks, but that's all. I left early.
Why?
Because I just got engaged to be married.
It had nothing to do with the fact that the Wilson brothers were crying fit up, but they were doing that from the word go, weren't they?
Perhaps.
No perhaps about it. They were. Never occurred to you that they might have been telling the truth?
No, it didn't. Why should it?
Because a lot of other people said they had their doubts at the time. I just wondered
Look,
whether...
the Wilson brothers were known criminals. They had convictions for burglary, for armed robbery. They were inept at it, useless. That's why the last burglary went so tragically wrong.
Yes, but they weren't just unprofessional, were they? I mean, the younger brother, Douglas, was a schizophrenic, educationally subnormal.
He pulled the trigger on the boy.
According to the confession he signed, but Douglas Wilson could hardly write his own name. Up until that point...
Well, up to that point, he was lying. He and his brother had cooked up a story and they were feeding it to us.
Well, that's an interesting choice of word. Us, for someone unconnected with the case.
I am not on trial.
Morning, Dave.
Hello, sir.
All right, let's have a look.
All right, Sergeant.
Look, if things have gone missing from here, I'm going to have to bang a few heads. If I track down who it is. Mr. Brownlow must know something. He's already on a warpath. Yeah. Thanks, Dave. We'll see what we can find.
That was more than a slap wrist for whoever did it.
Yeah, well, keep it to yourself, huh?
Mowbray conducted the interviews. Davis and Henderson were also present, but on different days. The three worked closely together throughout.
I believe so.
Now, according to most people, Mowbray was swaggering in and out of the canteen, talking openly about the Wilsons getting what they deserved.
He believed they did it.
You'll admit, then, that you heard Mowbray saying that?
I don't recall it, no.
The evidence at the trial was remarkably slim. Do you remember? The cartridges that killed the old man and the boy couldn't be precisely matched to the shotgun found at the Wilsons' flat. It was thought probable they came from the same weapon. Most of the case rested on the signed confessions and some very dodgy forensic Mowbray had collected. But the Wilsons were due, according to Mowbray. They were ready for one. They fitted.
It wasn't like that.
What do you mean?
You didn't know him.
Oh, obviously Mowbray was a charismatic figure. I found that much out. An old-school copper and a popular man.
Yes.
And he produced a lot of first-rate detectives. Your friend Davis, for example, has a lot to thank him for.
In what way?
Well, he left Mowbray behind, didn't he? And you, if you'll forgive me saying so. DC at Hillingdon, DS at West End Central, Fraud Squad, SO13, Detective Chief Superintendent, Commander, ACC. Not bad. Not bad for someone with fewer prospects than yourself.
I don't think that's a very accurate assessment.
Oh, I do. You see, I've been trying to work out what it is you're keeping from me. And the longer you persist in defending Mowbray, the worse you're making things for Davis, yet you say he's your friend. You got something against him? Do you resent his promotion? Is that what it is?
No, I do not. I repeat, I was and am unaware of any grounds for these allegations.
You know how far my inquiries have advanced, Mr. Brownlow. It's gone beyond general impressions of Mowbray's behaviour, his style of management. Electrostatic detection on the confessions, for instance. It was one of the first things I had implemented. The results came through earlier this week. He never knew about the trick with a piece of formica, Mowbray, did he? Under the sheet of paper. If you're going to add to the confession after it's been signed, it pays not to leave a calling card. Of course, nobody knew that in 1974. The test hadn't been developed then.
Are you saying that somebody tampered with the confessions?
That is what I'm saying, yes.
Look, we're running a bit late. Could you put all my appointments back a few hours?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, sir, you will be able to see Inspector Monroe around 2, only he's staying on after the early shift.
Well, you get Mr. Conway to deal with that, will you? Get him to talk to Bob Cry. He can brief him.
Yes, sir.
I'm not having it. If he wants a general clampdown, then fine. I'd be the first to agree with that.
Well, that's all it is, isn't it?
Not according to my book. Garfield?
Yes, sir.
I'm the first he wants to see. Just look over the fence at one or two of the others. See relief
Look,
for a start.
A word to the wise.
I've got enough on my plate without wasting time on petty witch hunts. I'll be lucky if I can get to see him at 2 anyway at this rate.
Tone.
What?
Over here.
Yes.
Urgent assistance required.
What?
Tony, I need your help.
Hang on a minute. Here's a copy of the lab report, which shows what was added. Pages 2 and 3 were written on a separate pad and inserted later. Oh, and this little touch at the end. In his original statement, Wilson said, "I never saw the boy." But this was doctored to read, "I never saw the boy again."
This is so crude, it's amateurish.
Well, Lord Justice Clark made a lot of that last remark in his summing up. An example of the Wilsons' callous disregard for human life. If you remember, he said he regretted the death penalty was no longer available.
Yes, but even so.
Oh, come on, you know what a good prosecution brief can do with a sympathetic judge.
Yeah, but this wasn't Mowbray's style at all. If didn't enter into it. He just wouldn't take chances.
That's not the impression I get of the man.
Well, like I say, you didn't know him.
Well, I will admit I haven't had that privilege.
Look, he wasn't careless, he was meticulous, and he was thorough.
Overconfidence. He'd won enough cases. He was getting cocky.
Look, he may have been one of the boys in a big gung-ho, but he certainly wasn't stupid.
He was corrupt.
If Peter Mowbray had altered the statements, he would have done so because deep down he felt that the Wilsons had to go the distance, because he knew they were guilty. This... that's not the work of the man I knew. If Peter Mowbray had tampered with the statement, you wouldn't know about it. Nobody would.
He had 48 hours to get that to the DPP.
Well, he would have done something about it. He would have stalled anything.
48 hours from the 11th of May?
48 hours from the 11th of May, 1974?
Yes.
Well, it wasn't Peter Mowbray then, because Peter Mowbray was with me.
Listen, George, if anyone gets wind of
Yeah,
this...
I know.
Don't you think you'll be better off admitting defeat? All right, you get carpeted, so what? It's just a bit of bad luck, isn't it?
It's not that simple.
Look, George, you might like a
It won't be a
complicated
bollocking I get, it's going to be a fine.
So, you win some, you lose some.
Look, I owe 200 quid to the bank. I owe me mum over a ton. I can't sell the car unless I get together 350 quid for a clutch and 4 new tyres.
You're joking.
At last.
What's all this about then, eh?
You took your time.
So?
Right, say nothing. We are shifting this lot back to the property store and you are lookout.
Oh, you're never going to get that lot back in the property store.
The property officer's on his dinner break. He's left the keys on Munro's desk and Munro is out on a death, right?
You have been a naughty boy.
But you can shut it, Quinnan. If I hadn't done you a favour in the first place, none of this would have happened.
Look,
you wanted to sort out the music in the first place, weren't you?
Look, you help create this mess, you can help sort it, right? Go on, get up there. Come on, George.
I'm careful, don't spill it away.
The night the Wilson brothers were arrested, I had a drink with Mowbray, John and the others. Like I say, I'd just become engaged to be married, and John Davis, well, John was going to be my best man. Anyway, after we had a few drinks, he made the announcement in the CID office. He and I were due to go to Suffolk. Marjorie's parents had arranged an engagement party. I mean, I wasn't that keen to go, but anyway, I finished up inviting about 4 of the others.
Who?
Well, there was Mowbray, Rutherford, Henderson and John.
Only
John.
what?
Well, only John didn't come. He stayed behind in the office. He said he'd got things to finish off. I mean, it didn't matter. I was obviously going to see him at the wedding.
Can you verify all that?
Well, I can verify that Mowbray was with me at the time the alleged alterations to the statement took place, yes.
And that John Davis was left alone in the office?
Yeah. That must have been him. I'll explain everything. It's the work of a novice. It'll also explain why there was an unholy row when we got back.
What, between Mowbray and Davis?
Yes, I mean, Mowbray must have known, but he would never have approved of the way it was done.
This was meant to be a damage limitation exercise.
That's why I can't help that.
John Davis was a friend of yours. You say he still is?
Yes, we still keep in very close contact. Our children are the same ages. We sometimes go on holiday together. In fact, he was... well, we were due to go over and see them this weekend.
What? He arranged that, did he?
Yes. Yes, rather short notice. I suppose he must have known there was something in the wind.
Davis is one of the finest police officers in the country. He could even make commissioner.
I've always thought so. Look, this has come as a shock to me as well, you know.
Well, this won't do much for forced credibility, will it?
Pardon me, Mr. Fuller. I thought it was the truth you wanted.
Of course. If you think you can live with it.
Let's go. I wouldn't have minded so much, except nobody even gave me any money for the poxy party.
Yes, gentlemen. Explain yourself, can you?
We...
Quinnan, I told you not to hang around like a spare jockstrap. Now, on your bike. Carry on.
I borrowed it, sir.
Yeah?
For a party at the section house. I'm sorry, sir.
You will be. You got anything to say?
I asked George to help me put it back, sir, when I heard that the property store was being checked. It's entirely my fault, sir.
Right, you and me are going to see the chief super.
I don't think that's necessary.
Don't argue, Stamp. 2 o'clock sharp, my office. Got it?
Sir.
What will you do now?
Go back to Sheffield, put it all together. Probably start a lot of it over again. You say the duty officer would remember Davis being there?
Inspector Valance, yes. Where does this leave me?
I'm going to have to ask you to testify to what you've told me. Are you prepared to do that?
Yes, yes, I am.
We may not like this, Charles, but it's something we have to do. Purging ourselves in front of the general public, even if it means walking over a man's grave or dismantling a man's career.
I always admired them both, you know. Looked up to them.
Evidently. It's funny how close heroes are to villains sometimes, isn't it? Well, you can rest assured this won't have done you any harm. Quite the reverse. It looks like that in the race between you and John Davis, you got there in the end.
It wasn't a race.
No?
No.
Well, perhaps if it ever was, you dropped out of it when you turned your back on CID. Must have been different then.
Well, to be honest with you, I didn't really fit in. I didn't have the confidence, or at least that's what people used to say.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Come in. Yes, Marion.
Got a Mr. Davis on the other line. He wants to speak to you about arrangements for the weekend.
Oh, right. Right, well, you'd better put him through.
Right, sir.
Chairs, don't we have any chairs? We moved them to the snooker room for the DAC's commendation ceremony last week.
Oh, that's very, very interesting.
I'll go and get them.
Give him a hand, would you? Right, go. What's your handwriting like?
Bad.
Mine's atrocious. Here we go. Victim, Anthony John Jarrett, nickname Hedgehog. Date of birth, 4th of January, 1974. Morning, sir.
Let's have some coffee, shall we?
Robbie, morning, sir.
Mind your back.
Mind your back, sir. Morning, Bob. It's like bedlam out there.
It is, sir. That's why I keep the door shut. Have you spoken to the DCI?
Yes, she rang me at home this morning. Any developments?
Not so far as I know. The body was found about 3 a.m. by a panda from Sea Relief.
Which officers?
Miller and Henderson.
Oh. Good officers?
Miller's not bad. But there's been no cock-ups. The scene was preserved. Amit was called without delay.
Well, that's no more than I'd expect. Well, have a word with the duty officer, will you, Bob? Make sure we're not missing any tricks. I mean, maybe somebody knew the dead boy, or maybe one of the patrols saw something.
Yes.
I mean, if the reliefs can contribute anyway, it's all to the good.
Of course.
Right. Anthony Jarrett. He was found at 3:05 this morning by Sunhill Panda 2. Post-mortem was at 6 a.m. Cause of death was a knife wound through the chest, piercing the aorta. There were 15 other knife wounds to the arms, chest, and face, so he obviously put up a fight. A severe bruising to the face and body. A blood test has shown that the level of alcohol in his system was 3 times above the legal limit for drivers. Frank.
I arrived at the scene about 3:30. Body was lying face down in the gutter at the junction of Crimson Avenue and Caddis Lane. The scene had been preserved by PC Henderson and PC Miller. I don't think they mucked around with anything.
Ted.
Oh, I know him. Yeah, we nicked him at a party at a rugby club last Christmas. He put a glass in someone's face. But the victim swore it was an accident, so we had to let it slide.
So he doesn't have a criminal record?
Oh, he was set fair to get one, sir. But he died first.
And we've set up a house-to-house in the Crimson Avenue area.
That's in progress, sir.
Alistair.
Sir?
We need to action some teams to cover the pubs and clubs in the area. Jarrett was on a bender last night, and we need to know where. So that's the casualty units, taxis, you know the procedure.
Right.
And I want a statement from everyone on Sea Relief. I need to know everything that happened on this ground last night.
Yeah, well, the relief doesn't come on till 10 p.m, sir. But I asked the duty officer to take statements off all the car crews before they signed off this morning, so we can feed that straight into the system.
Good, right. Let's get moving.
Hold your horses, Carver.
Look, just post the action to me, Alistair. I don't mind.
Snarika, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Is this your first murder inquiry?
It is, yes, sir.
Yeah, well, Larry will help you out if you have any problems, or you can just talk to me about it, OK?
Right, thanks, sir.
Do you know the people at the Hideout nightclub?
Not really. But it's only about a quarter of an hour from the murder scene. Known trouble spot. It's got to be worth a look.
Yeah, right, there you go.
Michael,
Well, thanks for lobbying for me, Chris. I don't think Meadows wanted me on the investigation.
There's no problem, Ted. I'll always help an old pal.
Oh, yeah?
Can I have gents? I'm D.I. Burnside. This is D.C. Dashwood.
Hi, Elsa.
And you are?
I'm Ken Plough, the owner.
Well, this is just a routine inquiry, Mr. Plough. We're investigating the murder of a young man. We wonder whether he might have been in your club last night.
I wouldn't know. I wasn't in last night.
Yeah, well, take a look, would you? I mean, you might recognise him from another occasion.
I shouldn't think so. You best have a word with our security manager. He does all the fun of our stuff.
Look, would you please take a look? If you don't look at the photograph, someone else will come back to talk to you.
No.
His name is Anthony Jarrett. Tony Jarrett?
No.
Is your security manager in?
Not till midday.
We'll wait.
You'll see yourself.
Sarge, this woman says she heard a car screeching down Crimson Avenue at 2 o'clock in the morning. She didn't see the car, but that ties in with the earlier sighting of the red hatchback driven at speed.
Let me see.
Sounds like he was in a bit of a panic.
This looks like it, Carver.
Yeah, Gordon. The police really want to work with you.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
How can I help you?
You the security manager?
That's right. Cheers, Ken. I'll take over from here.
You're the fault. Yeah, right.
Security manager. What does that mean? Bouncer?
I hire and fire the bouncers. I'm the boss.
Oh, yeah? Who's he then?
He's my boss.
There was a murder last night. Young man named Anthony Jarrett. His friends knew him as Hedgehog.
Hedgehog. I know an Hedgehog. He's barred.
Since when?
Since last night. I chucked him out for fighting.
These are from Jarrett's bedroom, is that right? Go ahead.
One pair of trainers.
Anything for me?
Yeah. It looks like he was killed somewhere and then dumped, sir. We've had 2 callers saying they had a car speeding off. One of the reports says the car was red.
Statements.
I'll wait till I've got something to send out, sir.
Patrick.
Sir.
Sergeant Roach can deal with that. Take an action from Alistair.
What forensic got to say?
Same as you. He was killed somewhere else and the body was dumped. Just been to see the parents.
Charming couple.
Makes you hard, doesn't it? I think we care more about their son than they do.
Maybe it was shock. It affects people in different ways.
Or maybe they're just a pair of slags.
I've got a diary here. Have either of you touched it?
I haven't. I put it in the bag. You won't find my prints on it.
Okay, well, we'll send it to Soccer for prints and then get somebody to read it.
Can I read it, Sarge? I love reading people's diaries.
Norika? Oh, all right.
Ted, I'm office manager.
Okay, you tell her she can read it.
Okay, you can read it.
But the kid who was threatening Hedgehog, he was in the rival gang.
That's right. There's some sort of grudge match going on.
What's the cause of it?
I couldn't say.
This is a murder inquiry, Mr. Harrison.
I know that.
So?
Look, there was a big punch-up some months ago. One lad got done over. He lost a kidney. Everybody blamed Hedgehog for it. They were trying to start a barney in here last night to settle it. Not in my club, I said, so I slung them out.
Who, exactly?
All of them. Both gangs.
Who in particular? Who was out to get Hedgehog?
You'll get fat, you know.
I am fat.
Sarge, this is Mike Dashwood. Can you bell the incident room and let them know that I'm trying to get through to them on the PR?
Larry, you know these nicknames? Do I put the main file on the nominal
Incident
card
room.
or the nicknames card?
Nominals.
Hey, Alistair, the radio.
Yeah, let's have the radio up. There's no point in having it if you can't hear it.
Yes, Greg here.
We've got a line on a probable suspect. Shall we make our way to his address?
Give me some details, Mike.
The suspect's name is Gary Lee. That's Lima Echo Echo. Apparently he's a member of a teenage gang of thugs called the Nutters. That's November, uniform, Tango Tango.
Yeah, all right, I get the gist. How near are you to his address?
Fairly close by now.
Fairly close.
In that case, proceed to the address and interview him.
He's a likely suspect, Sarge. He was heard threatening Tony Jarrett last night.
If I find him, I'm nicking him.
You know the situation best. Use your discretion. Now give me the address, please.
Fast work.
We'll see.
All right, boys.
What's up?
Good news. We've got someone in the frame.
Oh, no. I thought this job was going to be a sticker.
How many murderers have you arrested, Michael?
Oh, 1 or 2, Gov.
I'm having this one. Gary Lee.
What do you want? My mum's out.
I want to talk to you about Hedgehog.
I'm arrested. Oh.
All right. You cautioned him? No. Gary Lee. I'm arresting you on suspicion of murdering Anthony Jarrett. You don't have to say anything, but anything you do say may be given in evidence. You understand, you little scumbag? Didn't hear that.
Do you know Anthony Jarrett? Tony Jarrett? Hedgehog?
I'm saying nothing.
Do you know anything about a gang calling themselves the Nutters?
I'm saying nothing.
Would you like to tell me what you were doing yesterday? Oh, come on, Gary. What happened yesterday when you got up in the morning?
My client is exercising his right to silence.
Shut up. Don't put words in my mouth. There's no such thing as the Nutters. That's just some crap the kids made up.
I thought they were meant to be the hardest gang in the area.
Maybe.
So you have heard of them?
Of course I have.
Well, you just said... Oh, I get it. They wouldn't let you join.
You must be joking.
Gary, that's a trick question.
Mr. Dominic, I think you've just overstepped your mark.
I was advising my client.
You were coaching him in his answers, in front of a witness with a tape recorder running.
I was just offering my professional advice.
What do you want to know?
Tell me about the gangs, Gary. The Nutters and the Nasties.
We've got a lot of gangs of teenage tearaways. They form up, change their names a few times, then disappear. Sometimes they don't even give themselves names. They're just, you know, lads going around.
How old?
Oh, anything between 15 and 20, 21. Now, when I was south of the river, we used to get really tough gangs. They terrorised the area. On this ground, it's not so much of a problem.
Yeah, that's because we got really nasty villains. They wouldn't tolerate rubbish from these kids.
Maybe.
You see, the thing is, you've got to understand how these prats think. They're always muscling in, causing aggro.
What sort of aggro?
Well, like turn up at clubs on our manor team-handed, just looking for trouble. So we give it to them.
Why is that, Gary? What's the point of getting into fights all the time?
Well, you've got to give it, or all you do is take it.
Maybe they aren't looking for trouble.
Don't give me that. They did my best mate over. He wasn't doing anyone any harm.
You reckon it was Hedgehog who beat up John Perry?
Yeah, I was going to stick it to him in the throat. But I didn't.
No, but you planned to.
But I didn't. I swear I didn't.
These are from Lee's home address. Look at these. Regular arsenal. Flick knives, Stanley knives, even a good old CS gas canister. Always handy in a rock.
There certainly is plenty of stuff here, Ted.
Organised chaos, Chris. My own vertical filing system.
Well, you could start using the exhibits cupboard.
I probably will later, when I get everything logged off.
Sooner might be better than later.
Cheers, Chris.
I suppose you should have uniform backup right here. Now.
No, just provoke him.
And then I said, suck on that power, I said. Look, lads, enough of that. Look, I've paid for it, all right. I'm not causing no trouble, all right.
Yeah, all right.
My name's Delaney. I'm a police officer.
Not with me, mate.
Think about what I said, Gary.
You want me to cough to it? Well, I should have. I didn't do it.
It doesn't look good for you.
No, it doesn't, does it? Did you find me knives?
Yep.
Good collection, isn't it? Haven't used them much. Well, once. But I better not tell you about that, had I?
It's not a game, Gary. You're facing a murder charge.
That's right. You're gonna fit me up, aren't you, you piece of crap? Should never have trusted you.
No one's gonna fit you up.
No, don't tell me someone's not being paid off. Bit of a coincidence, I'm the one you pick on.
What do you mean?
Don't give me that. You know who did, Hedgehog.
No, I don't.
You liar. You lying pig. Course you know.
Do we need those clothes here? When are you going to take them to the lab, Ted?
I'm letting them dry, sir. Otherwise, I'm just going to get bloodstains all over the backseat of my car. I've got to let them dry naturally, sir. I can't bag them.
Mike, how's he shaping up?
Look at it this way. If you wanted to fit someone up with this job, you wouldn't have to look much further. Gary hasn't got a clue.
Yeah, well, I'm not interested in fitting anybody up.
No, I didn't say you were. I don't believe he did it, sir.
Why not? Well, I'll give you this. There's not a lot of evidence. No witnesses. Got no bloodstains on his clothing.
Just an uncorroborated allegation from our friend Mr. Harrison.
Yeah, and to make life more interesting, Gary thinks he knows who did kill Tony Jarrett.
Who?
Gordon Harrison. The bouncer at the Hideout nightclub.
Well, that's really helpful, isn't it? Harrison's pointing the finger at Gary, and now Gary's returning the favour.
Both trying to drop each other in it.
There's a lot of bad blood. Harrison used to be chummy with Gary and his gang. Then Hedgehog turns up on the scene, and now the Nutters don't get a look in.
Well, why would Harrison kill Hedgehog if they're such good mates?
Gary reckons there was a falling out. Hedgehog got lippy with one of the barmaids, and Harrison had to step in.
Which barmaid, Mike? I'll need a statement.
Sure, I'll go through my notes.
So, all we've got is accusations and counter-accusations. Need something concrete. What have you got on Gordon Harrison?
Nothing. He's got no criminal record. And the LIO don't hold a file on him.
Yeah, but the Serious Crime Squad are interested in him.
What was that, Ted?
Well, I've got a friend in serious crimes. They're setting up an operation into London clubs, looking at rogue bouncers. You know, the kind that go to work at a club, start making threats and end up taking over. Well, Harrison is on their A-list of suspects.
Why didn't I know this?
Well, because they're just setting the operation up. The information hasn't had time to trickle down to the LIOs.
No, I mean, why didn't I know this? I went to see Harrison this morning. Why didn't you tell me then?
I didn't know then. I made some calls this afternoon.
I thought you were the exhibits officer, Ted. Not a member of the inquiry team.
Well, I had some time on my hands, and I thought, why not?
Oh, well done. That's very good work. Frank?
I'll go and see Plale, the owner. Find out what he knows.
What about the Nutters?
We've rounded them up, sir.
And Hedgehog's gang?
Them too. Michael.
Name? Billy Butler. You realise it's an offence to give a false name? Stay there. Look, isn't there anywhere else to go?
There's favourite. Try and tear the two gangs apart, Jim.
Get up here. Come on!
I don't want any fighting in a custody area, all right?
So? I wanted to ask you again about last night.
I told you I wasn't there last night. My bar staff can confirm that.
I'm sure they can. I think I should tell you. We're near to making an arrest.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, we are. Let's sit down. Maybe you should think again about your story.
What story? I haven't got a story. I don't know nothing.
We're going to raid your club, looking for evidence. If we find any, and I think we will, you may be arrested as an accessory after the fact to murder.
You're bluffing.
I'm building a case.
Against me? What, you desperate or what?
Against Gordon Harrison. He's a villain. We know that. You start shielding him, and we'll drag you down with him.
I can't tell you anything.
Yes, you can. You have no choice.
Don't I? Yeah, right, maybe I don't.
Tell us about Harrison.
Well, he's heavy geezer. He mixes with dangerous people.
How come he's mixing with you, then?
Well, he comes to the club asking for a job as a bouncer. I said he's not the sort of bloke we wanted. Then my brother gets his car smashed up and the windows of the club get put in.
Same old story.
So I give him the job. Next thing I know...
He's running the club?
Yeah, more or less. Takes a percentage of the profit.
You should have come to us. We would have helped you out.
He said he'd kill me.
Rubbish.
No, not rubbish. The bloke says he's going to kill me. I mean, would you take the chance?
So where does Hedgehog come in?
He's a mate, isn't he? He knows Harrison, does jobs for him.
Jobs? What, like smashing cars up and putting windows in?
I don't know.
So, last night?
I don't know nothing about last night. I told you that.
But you knew there was trouble?
Yeah, well, I had a word with the barman. He told me things.
What did he tell you?
Hedgehog and his mates come in, they start mucking about like they own the place.
So Hedgehog's getting out of order and needs a slapping down.
Well, the bouncers kicked all the kids out. Ellison grabs hold of Hedgehog, takes him round the back.
On the back of the club?
Well, it's not for the first time, it's what he does. You get stroppy with Harrison, he takes you round the back, gives you a beating. Shows you who's boss.
And you got the message as well?
Look, I'm just small-time businessman. I don't...
All right. Save us a sob story. I want you to show me the back of the club.
You're joking.
No, I'm not. I want to look at the scene. I want to see where Anthony Jarrett got himself stabbed to death.
Anything from Frank?
No, sir. Alistair, can you give me 10 minutes? There's a few things I want to go through with you.
Yes, sir.
Where's Ted?
He's taking the dead boy's clothing to the lab.
About time too.
She's 15.
All right, come on. Haven't got all day.
Michael, call for some backup just in case.
Better be quick, Gordon's
Yes,
probably
Greg
in by
from
now.
Dashwood.
All right, show
Require
me.
backup at the
Well, this is the
hideout
fire
backup.
exit. I mean, when there's trouble and that, we bundle them out here, give them a boot up the backside.
Yeah, or a good kicking.
Yes, sometimes.
Greg's organising a panda as backup, Guff.
Good.
What are you looking for?
Well, a murder weapon would be choice. We're going to need forensic to go over this area, Michael.
Need a warrant?
No, Mr. Playle is going to give us permission. That corner looks promising.
Is this blood?
Well, it's either blood, rust, or pee. I think it's blood. You all right, Ken?
This is where the kid got killed then?
Very possibly.
Didn't know what he was going up against.
Listen, Ken, is there something you want to tell me?
Yeah, I suppose there is.
Well, go on, then.
Well, the thing is, Mr. Burnside, I lied. I was at the club last night.
Yes.
When all the trouble went off inside, I stayed out of it. But later I come out here and I see the blood everywhere. And then I see Harrison out here. He's putting a body in a car.
What, Jarrett's body?
I don't know. It's just like, it was a body.
But it was Harrison. Definitely
Yes.
Harrison.
Yeah, it was definitely Harrison.
Right. Will you testify to this?
Do I have to? Yeah, all right, I suppose.
Can I help?
Michael, your turn.
Gordon Harrison, I'm arresting you on suspicion of murdering Anthony Jarrett. You do not have to say anything unless you wish to do so, but anything you do say may be given in evidence. Do you understand?
Right, I'm off. I'll see you later, Gordon.
Don't go, Ken. We're in this together, you know.
Michael, stay with him. We don't want our chief witness intimidated.
Chief witness?
It wasn't your knife. It was his. Am I right?
I don't know what you're on about.
Oi! Where do you think you're going? You're under arrest. Or hadn't you noticed?
Don't be silly.
You brought Tony Jarrett out here to give him a hiding. But he pulled a knife on you. Now, you couldn't have that, could you? So you took it off him and you stuck him with it.
Is that what Ken told you?
That's what happened, isn't it?
I wouldn't put too much weight on what Ken says. He's not very trustworthy. Poor old Ken.
You trying to intimidate Playle?
Ken's an old pal of mine. Why should I intimidate him?
Because he's gonna shot you for murder.
Is he?
Tony Jarrett was only 17 years old. Didn't deserve what you did to him.
No comment.
You lost control. You stabbed him.
No comment.
Done this before, have you? You're a pro. A hard man. But don't think your big-time pals are gonna bail you out of this one. You're a slag, Harrison. And you're going down.
No comment.
She said she'd call me yesterday morning. We were going to have some lunch and then we were going to go shopping.
And you live where?
Across the road. We're good friends. We have been for years. And it's not like her to let me down. So I rang her several times. No answer. And that's not like her either. She always answers the phone. Or Stephen does.
Who's Stephen?
Her son. So this morning I decided to come over. I let myself in.
You got keys to the house?
No. That door was unlocked. She never leaves the side door unlocked. Well, you know what it's like around here.
Yeah.
In here. Wait till you see her bedroom.
Sierra Oscar from 181. We're going to need CID, Sarge, and Socko.
Who are the occupiers?
A woman named Jane Deering and her 16-year-old son. No husband.
So where are they?
That's what we'd like to know.
You brought these in, did you?
No, they were there.
What, as they are on the table?
Yes.
Right, Karen, the main bedroom's at the front.
I thought I'd better not touch things, just in case.
Yesterday's and today's.
Well, Jane always reads the newspapers. She'd never just leave them.
Mrs. Steering and her son. What kind of people are they?
Oh, they have their occasional ups and downs, but who doesn't? Apart from that, they're two of the nicest people I know.
If you could just have a look around for me, see if there's anything you know might be missing.
Yes, of course. Oh, by the way, Jane's car is still here. It's still parked on the road where she always leaves it.
Is the ID here yet?
They're still on their way.
Oh, we're going to need them.
Better have one of this before we lift anything.
Right. So where's the stiff, then?
There isn't one.
You have your work cut out then, aren't you?
When's the last time we did body fluids without a stiff?
That domestic out of Chingford.
Was it?
That's on the other side of the bed.
You know it was. Blunt instrument and attempted dismemberment.
Oh, yeah.
Right. We're going to need a control sample.
So where does Mrs. Deering work?
Well, she doesn't at the moment. She's a teacher. School's on holiday.
What about the son?
He's unemployed, apparently.
I've given the place a thorough going over. There's no sign of a forced entry.
Anything nicked?
The neighbour, Susan White, she doesn't think so.
Thanks, Kat. How does she know?
She's a close friend of the family.
What about the car outside?
It's locked.
Keys?
They don't seem to be here.
you know where Mrs. Deering keeps her car keys?
Yes, with her.
And do you know if she's got any relatives we can contact?
Well, no, her parents are both dead. She has a sister living somewhere in Australia, but she's been there for years.
And she's just the one child, has she?
Yes. One's enough, isn't it?
Socko's gone, Sarge. She said she'll make another visit if you need her for a follow-up.
Right.
And I should be getting back on patrol.
Okay. Thanks, Enrique.
I'll be going by Chambers Park.
Where?
The school where Mrs. Deering teaches. I know it's holiday time, but would you like me to try and locate another member of staff? They may know something.
Yes, would you do that?
What can you tell me about Mr. Deering?
Who?
Well, your friend's husband or ex-husband, the father of the child.
Now, why would you need to have a husband in order to be a mother?
Well...
There's no Mr. Deering. There never has been.
All right. Now, can you think of anyone who will want to do these people a mischief?
Miss White. Has Mrs. Deering ever let this house?
Let it?
No, had lodgers in lately.
Never. Why?
Well, you've been very helpful. Listen, if we need to talk to you more, where can we get in touch with you?
At home. I work from home.
Really? Doing what?
I write cookery books.
Oh, lucky you. Well, thanks again. Forensic have just about wrapped up. Once they've done a patent determination on the bloodstains, checks them and check with the local GP, they'll get back to us. What about the car?
Well, I can't get into it. So I've got traffic to come down here. I've also got someone to ring round hospitals and describe the circumstances. Have you informed the DI?
Yeah, he'll be here later. In the meantime, we continue with the investigation. It's a nice house.
Yes. Nice people. In a nice road. So what do we think?
Right now? Right now, we think the worst.
We're anxious to trace the whereabouts of Mrs. Jane Deering and her son. No, it's nothing to worry about. We just found your name in her address book, that's all. And I wondered if... Ah. Well, have you spoken to Mrs. Deering or her son on the phone since then, say recently? Right, thanks for your help. Bye. I thought we could circulate that.
A mother and a son who are devoted to each other.
That's what they say.
Well, that's not what this happy home is telling me.
What?
Come with me. For a loving family, there are too many no-go areas in this house.
No-go what?
Why are there two separate food cupboards in the house? One with a lock on.
Well, perhaps the kid eats too much.
Kids are supposed to eat too much. Their mothers encourage them to eat too much.
Well, perhaps this one's different.
What do you mean, different?
Well, perhaps she's economising. Look, Mrs. Deering is a teacher in an East London school. They believe in locked cupboards, and I don't blame them. Look, she just brought the habit home with her, that's all.
I'm not talking about the mother. I'm talking about the son. I found these in his room. Once for this cupboard here, once for a separate cupboard in the bathroom. The Yale key is for his bedroom door, and the lock is fairly new. His mother's not hiding anything away from him. He's been locking himself and his things away from her.
Quite a little campaigner. I wonder if he ever put it into practice.
What do you mean?
Well, he looks like a kid who believes in making statements. Maybe what we've seen in this house isn't the result of a violent struggle. It could be just another statement.
Well, you mean he caused the damage deliberately?
Well, why not?
Statements? The only statements in this house worth bothering about are the bloodstains.
So what's your bet?
Has to be an intruder. Traffic's here.
Right.
Sarge, take a look at this.
If you bring anyone back here again, I'll kill you. Where'd you find this?
In the kids' room. There's no name on it. But if Mum wrote it, you must have well and truly upset her.
She must have been more than upset to write something like this. Whatever happened to parental guidance?
I'll see if I can match it up with any other bits of handwriting around this place.
Because that is more than a note of annoyance, mate. That is a threatening letter. Not the kind of thing you'd expect from nice people.
A Renault 9. You could open a Renault 9 yourself using a coat hanger.
I know, but I just don't happen to have a coat hanger with me today. How'd you get on?
Well, I managed to locate one of the teachers at Chambers Park School. He's also the deputy head.
Good.
But he hasn't seen or heard from Mrs. Deering since the school broke up for the holidays 2 weeks ago.
There you go.
Thanks, Dan. And did this teacher know what Mrs. Deering's plans were for the holiday?
Yeah, she wasn't going away. She was staying at home.
This too.
Just what exactly are we looking for?
I don't know, mate. Could be a body.
Great.
Maybe two. And this teacher, did he have much to say about Mrs. Deering?
Few things, yeah. She and her son are both actively political, but apparently it's never interfered with her teaching, despite her temperament.
What temperament?
Well, from what I can gather, Mrs. Deering is a clever but unpredictable woman.
Unpredictable? In what way?
He says she has a violent temper.
Now, give me 5 minutes more of your time, will you? I need help with one or two perspectives.
We're going to need a handwriting expert to sort out this little lot.
It doesn't match up?
Well, it's similar to a handwriting, but it's not quite. It's the same with the son. But then again, this death threat, if that's what it is, was hardly written. It was more or less stabbed out onto the page.
Yeah, well, the capitals don't help.
No. She was obviously in a highly emotional state when she wrote it.
If she wrote it.
That woman over the road, maybe she can identify the handwriting. I'll fetch her.
Okay. You see, I'm not that much of an authority on women's clothes.
You're not?
No. Don't get me wrong, I know what I like. I like style. But I'm not that keen on fashion. I've always liked my lady friends to be well dressed, but just a little bit tarty. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
Which makes me an appreciator, but not an authority. Now you'd know different. Take a look at the clothes and the shoes in there, will you?
Look at them.
Well, study the woman's wardrobe as a whole. Let me know if you see anything that shouldn't be there.
You're right, Sarge. There is something wrong here.
Tell me.
Mrs. Deering's clothes, look, they're mostly plain, but they've got style and quality. Judging by these, I'd say she'll look good any time of day. But I just can't imagine her wearing something like this. I mean, I know I haven't seen her, but I just know it's not her. There's a marked personality difference here. Same with this one. They're the only two like it, and they just don't belong.
Well, maybe they're just things that she wore years ago and keeping for old time's sake.
Well, if they are things she's kept from the past, which I doubt, she'd have packed them away in a box somewhere. And these, apart from being the wrong taste, they're the wrong size. Her shoes are a size 4, these are a size 6.
Come here. What about this little lot?
Nah, I can't see her wearing those. What's this?
Valentine's cards. No names, but a lot of love. Well, thanks for your help, Narika.
Oh, right, Sarge. Sergeant Roach is just coming down.
Right.
Miss White, could you come in here, please? I'm sorry to trouble you, but have you got any idea whose handwriting that is?
Where did you find this?
In the waste paper basket in the boy's room.
Is there something wrong?
No, it's not exactly handwriting, is it?
But can you identify it?
No, I can't.
Because this is a very angry note. I mean, this is a protest, a shout, if you like. Now, you know these people. You know them very well. Please sit down. I mean, they're your friends.
Yes.
So maybe that's why you're trying to protect them.
Protect them?
Yes. I mean, you say they're two of the nicest people you could hope to meet. But we've had a very good look round this house, and we think differently. Now, things are wrong here. They've been wrong for some time, haven't they?
Yes.
So tell us. Help us for a change.
Well, Stephen came over to see me the evening before last, quite late. I gave him some money and I let him borrow a rucksack.
Why?
To get away. He wanted to get away from here. So I sent him to stay with some friends of mine for a while.
Where?
In Gloucestershire.
Why did he want to get away?
Because of the rows.
What rows?
Because of the rows that were going on in this house.
Rows between Stephen and his mother?
No, between Jane and her friend.
Her friend?
Her girlfriend. Jane met her a couple of months ago. She was always here. And she was threatening to move in. And that worried Stephen.
You mean he realized what his mother was up to?
Yes, that didn't worry him. It was the rows that worried him. And this girl. He just didn't like this girl. She was trouble. She tried to run things. She tried to keep him and his mother apart. She kept helping herself to his things. He didn't have any space of his own left. He even had to put locks on cupboards.
Yes, we've noticed.
So, you're saying the boy left late that evening? You came over the next day and found all this?
Yes.
Why didn't you tell us this before?
Because I wanted to give Stephen a chance.
To do what?
To get away from all the rows, to stay away.
Yes, we could have a murder. Possible suspect, Stephen James Deering, age 16. Address, 5 Jubilee Road.
These friends of yours in Gloucestershire, what are their names?
They're a married couple. Their name's Lloyd.
Sarge, it's Stephen Deering. He's come back home.
What's going on?
Stephen, why have you come back?
What's happened? Who did this?
You mean you don't know?
Of course not. How could I? I've been away, haven't I?
Yes, but you were supposed to stay away.
Where's my mother?
I did this for you, Stephen.
You did what?
All of it. And now he's back.
Are you saying you caused this damage?
Yes.
And upstairs?
Yes.
When?
Yesterday, after I'd hidden the axe.
Get him out of here.
Come on, Steve.
Wait in the kitchen for a while. There's a good lad. And get Data back here. So before you say any more, I must caution you that you do not have to say anything unless you wish to do so. But anything you do say may be given in evidence. Do you understand? Are you saying you killed Jane Deering?
Yes.
And when did this happen?
Late Wednesday evening, after Stephen had gone. I tried to reason with her, but she wouldn't listen to me. She wasn't interested in talking to me anymore. Or seeing me. Well, everything had gone crazy in this house. So I decided to do it.
So you killed her for the boy's sake?
No. Mine.
And this, did you write this?
Yes.
To Mrs. Deering?
Yes, but I didn't know Stephen had seen it. She must have shown it to him. I wrote that several days ago.
Mrs. Deering's body, where is it?
I wrapped it in a blanket. And I picked her up and carried her. It was difficult, but I managed. She wasn't so heavy. She was all so small and slim.
You carried her where?
Across the road. Across the road in the dark. To my home. She's in the garden. Under some leaves. Under the trees. You see, I loved her.
No, don't put it back onto me.
Ulrika,
Just going round in circles.
shall I pick it up tonight then or what?
It's up to you. Don't forget the milk.
Mondays, you look like I feel.
Just glad to be at work. I mean, he won't come to anything here. But every end of term, he expects me to go to all his boring little do's.
So you're definitely not going then?
Well, I told him now.
And he's not happy?
Well, what do you think?
I'd never bring an outsider to anything here anyway.
Exactly. You put 5 teachers in a room, they're as boring as 5 coppers in a pub.
That's not possible, surely.
And I'm fed up with being given an earful from some trendy liberal about being a policewoman.
You know, it's funny you should say that, because whenever any fella asks me what I do, I always say I'm a teacher.
Yeah?
Mrs. Glenn,
That's me.
DC Carver's Sunhill. It's about your burglary.
Oh, right. You better come in then, hadn't you?
I've got those already. I get them washed off. I saw Pete Marner in the Dog and Partridge. Oh, yeah, how is it? He reckons he's no regrets about leaving the force. And he was with a really cracking-looking bird. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, well, you see, Steve, pulling power's not about good looks. I wouldn't say that, Mary.
Listen to those two, God's gift.
Come on then, Casanova, what is it about,
Yeah,
eh?
what's your secret, boys?
This and this. I had this mate called Kev Dawson, the ugliest mush in Redditch. But boy, could he pull the birds, and you know what? He had a Porsche.
Oh, didn't the neighbours hear anything?
That lot? Oh, I should be so lucky. Mind you, they're quick enough to complain if there is any noise. But what do they expect? I mean, Jake's only 2. It's a difficult age.
Right, and the thief went right through the house.
Couldn't say. Well, he didn't make a mess, if that's what you mean. No drawers were opened.
I see. And the key was left in the lock, you say?
Yeah, my husband. Idiot. You tell him and tell him.
And just some cash and credit cards were missing.
That's right.
What you might call easy access.
What?
Nothing.
Hi, we've had another burglary in the Springfield area, the 5th in 2 weeks. Same routine. This time he even managed to nick the credit cards when the burglar alarm was sounding off. He's getting too cocky. Now, Stamp, that's your area. Beat 5. Now, this comedian's cocky enough to try 2 in 1 day, so I want you to watch out.
Sorry, Sarge.
All right, all right. Hollis on beat 3. It might be worth having a word with the high street shops. Warn them to keep an eye out. Also, the muggings on Padbury Estate. We've had a description. 2 youths, both IC1s. One's 5'8", the other's 5'4". Jeans, black trainers. One's got an earring in his left ear. Loxton and Garfield, you're in the area car, so I want you to watch out for them.
Sarge.
Also, Young and Data, you're in Panda 2. Our French.
Make my
day, George.
Oh, make your day, mate.
Right. Clutch, mate.
So which credit cards have gone missing then, Mrs. Glenn?
Well, just mine. My husband had his on him.
They are.
My cash point and check cards.
Have you got the numbers to those?
Yeah.
Well, if you'd like to fish them out before I go.
All right. Then there's my Visa
Right.
and my Switch card
Right.
and my Access.
Is that it?
Then, of course, my Cashlink card. Yeah, all right, my Cashlink card with the Halifax.
Yeah, of course.
But the thief won't have the PIN number for that, will he?
No. Is that it?
Oh, we also took my charge card with Marks and Spencer.
Oh, I didn't know there were any gentlemen at Sunhill.
I thought all women in the force wanted to be treated like the men.
We do. Most of the time.
Hello, Fred.
Reg.
How you doing?
Could be better. What you got for me?
Stolen credit cards. Now look, you do quite a lot of business with the old plastic, don't you?
Who doesn't these days? What's the problem?
Well look, keep your eyes skinned on those signatures. Some flash Harry's walking around with a pocket full of stolen plastic.
I've got my stolen list here.
Ah, no, that might be out of date. He's pinching over 6 this morning.
You never been out with anyone from Scannell, have you? I mean, regularly.
No.
Why not?
Why do you want to know?
I was just wondering, that's all.
I just don't think it'd be a good idea.
In what way?
Well, I wouldn't want to become part of the canteen culture.
It doesn't have to be like that.
No?
No.
Oh, come off it, Phil. You know what they're like, canteen cowboys, you've heard them.
We're not all like that.
Not you as well.
What do you mean?
You're all the same, aren't you?
No, we're not. Give me a chance. Come out with me one night.
Oh, I don't believe this.
What?
Look, Phil, just keep your eyes on the road and we'll both be a lot happier, okay?
So basically, Gov, this slag, he's a pro. No mess, just took the cards, then straight to M&S for a new suit. Jim, we got enough jokers around here without you turning pro.
Apart from that, Gov, nothing. My snouts ain't come up with a thing.
Tush.
Same here, Gov. But I've been through the files. There's only 2 names I can match to a blag like this. That's Jimmy Turner.
He's already banged up.
And Ted Wilkins has moved to Newcastle.
Listen, this slag is walking around with 30 pieces of plastic, including 3 golds. Now, so far, we reckon his shopping spree has come to over 10 grand. I want him. My credit is running out fast. All right?
It's down to the end and turn right.
You and Peter, you pretty steady then? You've been going out together long?
Couple of years. Why?
I just wondered. But you're not engaged or anything?
No, we're quite happy as we are.
So how come you were rowing this morning?
Phil, we had a tiff, okay? Like everyone else. And anyway, it's nothing to do with you.
Sorry. Just thought you might want to... You seemed a bit fed up, that's all. Thought you might want to chat as mates. We could go out one evening if you want. You know, as friends.
Oh, yeah, sure. If I need a shoulder to cry on, I'll, Anyway, it's right at the end. I'll bear it in mind.
Domestic Director, 36 Walton Avenue.
Thanks very much, Mrs. George. Sarge.
Right, Jim.
There's a Mrs. George, Padbury Estate. There's 2 youths causing a disturbance,
that?
breaking windows, threatening some of the tenants. The description sounds just like the 2 after the muggings.
Right,
Right, well, the area car's been reassigned.
Your address.
Try Phil and Enrico.
Can you read that?
86 from Sierra Oscar.
Right, we'll get somebody over there. Thank you.
Morris.
Sarge.
Where are they?
Sarge.
What's it about?
Bensie the jewellers in the High Street. Some bother with a customer. Reported by Mrs.
2
Walker,
youths,
the manager.
description of the muggings.
Right, Reg Hollis was last
Suspects
in the area.
reported by Mrs.
That was quick.
Yeah, well, it's modern policing, isn't it? And you are?
Mrs. Walker, I'm the manager.
And what's the problem, Mrs. Walker?
Well, one of our assistants got a little bit suspicious over a signature on a credit card. So we asked the man for further identification, which he wasn't keen to give us. So we had it checked out and it's stolen.
Oh, I see. Where is he now?
He's causing havoc at the counter.
Well, Mrs. Walker, let's go inside. That might be my lucky day.
Just look, I told you now, just give me my car back and we'll forget about it, eh? I'm sorry, sir, but I'm afraid I can't do that. This is ridiculous!
Good afternoon.
Ah.
So you have a problem here, do we?
Yeah, they've just made a mistake, that's all.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
This is your credit card, is it?
Yeah.
Mr. D. Timpson?
That's right, yeah.
I reasonably believe this credit card's been stolen, sir.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I was just telling them just now that I reported it stolen and, well, this morning I found it in my other suit.
Do you have any other means of identification, sir?
Not on me, no, I don't know. Sorry.
He has a wallet. There were other credit cards in it.
Can I see your wallet, please, sir? Look, if you'd rather, we can do this down at the station. I mean, it's same by me.
Come here! Get out of here!
All right. You're nicked.
You're right. Sierra Oscar from 181.
Sierra Oscar, go ahead, Eureka.
It's a mugging. I'm after one of them.
Do you need assistance?
We need an ambulance for the victim. He's in the car park on the Padbury estate.
Will do.
Suspect is heading towards Wellington Street.
We'll get a panda across there straight away, Marika.
Be careful.
Come on, Slag.
Sierra Oscar, give me your whereabouts, over. 134 Sierra Oscar. 134 from Sierra Oscar. Are you all right?
Receiving. I'm inside the warehouse behind the Padbury estate. Afraid we lost suspect, Sarge.
We've got Loxton and Garfield covering Wellington Street.
We'll have another search round here, just in case.
No,
Reg.
Right, no, Jim. Bit of luck this, right?
Well, not for us. The card isn't one of the ones stolen from our patch.
You're joking.
So that's not our man, unless he's got a bit of plastic on him from that job this morning, Mrs. Glenn.
I'm afraid not.
Hard luck, Reg.
You could help us out if you like, Jim.
But he's your body, and I am a bit busy at the moment.
Some eliminating inquiries, just in case.
Just to say that you agree.
Well, all right.
Cheers, mate. Hello,
Ah, Burns has no previous. I also checked with Property Index at Scotland Yard.
Oh, snap. Edmonton, 14 for this month. Have you rung?
Who?
Edmonton.
I thought he was your body.
Yeah, what about Visa? Have you checked with them, see if the card's been used since the 14th?
Well, no, Reg, I was only doing you a favour.
Don't mind if I use your phone, do you?
I'll make yourself at home.
Middle of the high street.
Middle of the high street, bold as brass. I mean, he's out of his face, been drinking all day, obviously bursting. So I go up to him and I say, "Excuse me, what do you think you're doing?"
Just thought that was pretty obvious.
He turns around to me and he says, "You are?" And then whoosh, all over me trousers. Joke. Straight up. Here, Marika, have a feel.
Oh, get off!
What's up with her?
I don't know.
Noriko, is Phil with you?
Sergeant's in the canteen.
Phil, I've got a little job for you both, what you might call the sharp end of police work. Mrs. Johnson, 12 Bingley Flats.
What's the problem?
She's locked herself out.
Brilliant.
A neighbour rang up. She's an old dear of 80, all right?
Okay.
You're right.
Jim?
Reg.
Monroe's okay to search of the house, in case Mr. Burns has got any other credit cards stashed away at home.
Edmonton Station, so they've got a good footprint from the garden where the card was stolen. A Nike trainer.
Oh, nice one. And Visa say the card's been used to cash over 1,500 quid since it's been stolen.
Has it now?
Yeah. I think there's more behind Mr. Burns than meets the eye. I'm going to get him out for an interview. Yeah, come on, Jim. Might learn something.
Look, Phil, if you try anything again, I'm going to radio in.
You what?
I mean it.
So let me get this straight, Mr. Burns. You say you found this credit card?
That's right.
Where?
In Regent's Park, just on the grass.
So why didn't you hand it into the police?
Well, I was going to, but I put it in my back pocket and forgot about it.
When was this?
2 weeks ago.
Oh, that would be the 15th?
Right about then, yeah.
So what made you decide to use it today?
Well, it was a mistake.
A mistake, Mr. Burns. Come off it.
Well, an impulse, more like.
Oh, yeah. An impulse, eh? And what does that mean?
Well, I've had a few financial problems recently, what you might call cash flow problems.
Ah, you mean your skins?
Yes, that's right. And it's the wife's birthday next week. I thought, new watch and, well, you know, I was tempted.
And have you only used the credit card this once?
Yeah.
Are you sure about it, Mr. Bones?
Yeah.
Now, you say you've had this credit card for the last 2 weeks. From the 15th, in fact.
Yeah.
So how come it's been used for cash withdrawals on the 16th, the 17th, the 19th, the 20th, the 27th, the 29th, the 30th, the 1st, the 2nd and the 3rd, eh? Is there anything you'd like to tell me, Mr. Bones? No?
No.
Did you make these cash withdrawals? Did you, Mr. Burns?
Not much I can say, is there?
So you did make these cash withdrawals?
Yes. What's going to happen now?
I'd like to ask you again, where did you find this credit card?
I told you, Regent's Park.
This credit card was stolen from 26 Park Way.
So?
Did you steal it from that address?
No.
You see, Mr. Burns, we have this problem believing you because you've already told us one lie. If you can tell us one lie, why can't you tell us another?
Telling you the truth, honestly, I didn't do that job.
Well, I find that very difficult to believe.
What's your problem?
There you go. Make sure you get the council round and fix that window right away, OK?
I'll send the bill to you then, shall I?
No.
Then I'll send it to the police station when I get it.
No, Mrs. Johnson.
Yes, I
See
shall.
ya. Come on, you got to snap out of it. We're working together.
You what? I've a good mind to see Monroe about you.
Don't be stupid.
You need sorting out.
I don't know what you mean.
There's something wrong with you.
Look, Narika, I've had a bad time recently, and I don't know why I did it, but I couldn't help it.
Pathetic.
Look, please don't report me.
Let's get out of here. Stop the car.
What?
I said stop the car. Look over there.
What are we waiting for?
I want backup. Sierra Oscar from 181.
Sierra Oscar, go ahead, Narika.
Assistance required. The two suspects in the mugging are on a park bench in Felder Road. We're on the corner of Felder Road and Bremerton Street.
We'll send assistance straight away.
Let's go then.
No.
Now she's in that area.
Nothing wrong, myself? No, we didn't turn up any more plastic at Burns' place.
Oh, yeah, just my luck.
However...
Narika, we're in position, far end of Felder Street. Can see suspects.
Okay, let's move in. Drop the knife.
Come and get it.
Come on, darling. What's up with ya? Come on! Come on! Come on!
Where the hell were you then, eh? Hey?
You're not allowed to search my house without a search warrant.
I'm afraid that's not quite correct, Mr. Burns. You see, we do have the powers to enter and search your premises up to an arrest for evidence.
And is this your evidence?
I'd like to take you back to this business of a burglary at 26 Park Way just over 2 weeks ago.
I told you, it's nothing to do with me.
The thief made entry around the back through a window.
So why are you telling me?
Because, Mr. Burns, underneath that window there's a lovely clear print of a size 8 trainer. Now then, are these your trainers?
Yes.
Good.
But thousands of people must have trainers at size 8. Doesn't prove anything.
Now, you see, Mr. Burns, there is something special about these trainers. Do you know what I mean by that?
No.
Then I will tell you. See this sole here? You see how well worn it is, huh? Now, we have taken a plaster cast of the footprints in that garden. Now, what do you reckon it will match, eh? I'd like to ask you again, Mr. Burns, were you responsible for the break-in at 26 Park Way?
No.
You see, Mr. Burns, all we had to do is match this well-worn tread here with the plaster cast from the garden, and if they're the same, it doesn't look very good for you, does it, Mr. Burns?
What will I get?
Are you saying you're responsible for this burglary? Are you, Mr. Burns?
Yes.
And would you like to tell us about it? Thank you, sir. That will do nicely.
Is there anyone
Get
who
your
wants
hands
us
off
to
this
inform
car.
answer the
Push
questions that the sergeant is asking you?
I ain't got nothing. Shut up! Don't tell him nothing. I ain't got nothing. Don't say nothing.
Just listen to the question.
Get stuff. Go on. Get
You want to
stuff.
spend 12 hours and a half?
So
You can be arraigned for
I'm going away for 2 weeks.
Oh, young, can I have a word, please? In my office.
Bitch!
I'll shut the door. Sit down. You have your assessment next month. I just wanted to chat with you before then, see how things are. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I know you've been under some stress in recent months. I just wanted to say, if you wanted to talk anything through before your assessment, then feel free to come along.
Thank you very much, sir.
You all right, Narika? What's the matter? Oh, is it your boyfriend?
Oh, it's young.
Well, what about him?
Well, he tried something on, didn't he?
Young? I hope you gave him a smack round the chops. Hey, come on, he didn't actually do anything, did he?
Yeah, well, he tried.
God almighty.
I was chasing this lad we just brought in, right, and he ran into the warehouse and it was dark. And the next thing you know, Young's there and he's all over me.
Over you? What do you mean he assaulted you?
I can't work with him anymore. Just now we almost blew something. If it hadn't been for George. I don't know what to do.
Well, look, you're going to have to report it. You've got to tell Monroe.
Tosh, yeah? Heard about Reg Hollis? No. Landed flat on his feet.
How come?
Burns was our man. He's got him singing.
You're joking.
No, mopped up the lot. All those burglaries round Springfield.
He'll be eating out on canteen food for the next 12 months on this.
Yeah, well, just as long as he don't get delusions of grandeur and want to come over to our lot.
Oh, God forbid. Mind you, though, good fair dues. He's not a bad copper.
Still a pain in the butt.
Perhaps we could nickname him Piles.
Very good, Tosh.
See, Jim, this is what police work is all about, the basics and the powers of observation.
Yes, Reg.
It's always been one of my best assets as a copper observation.
Well, you always need to keep your eyes open, don't you?
Well done, Hollis. You did a fine job.
Oh, thank you,
there.
sir.
Nice job, Reg.
No, thank you, George. You see, Jim, I always thought I had the makings of a great detective.
It's a very different game, you know, Reg.
Oh, yeah, but look, maybe you could put a word in me, or governor.
I don't know.
Look, in all honesty, Jim, don't you think I'd be a valuable asset to your department?
Well, you certainly contribute something different.
Exactly. No, no, Jim.
You going to tell your boyfriend?
No way. I don't want him down here.
You will have a chat with Monroe, though, eh?
I'll sleep on it.
Do you want to come for a drink?
Thanks, Joe. I need some fresh air.
All right, I'll see you tomorrow.
Narika, I just want to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry about what happened, and I'm sorry about what...
Get away from me.
Drinks are on you then, eh, Reg?
Yeah, now look, I think we should split around, don't you?
Yeah.
No, not this every day. I'll get a clear up round of 15 in one bag. That many at Sunny Hook and Beausolettes.
No, Reg. Yeah, you coming for a drink, Bill? They're on Reg.
No, thanks. Why not? You on a promise? Get lost.
Operation Lima. Another bit of quiet, please. Thank you. Operation Lima. According to the latest figures, there's about £1 million worth of fines uncollected still owing to the magistrates' court in this division. Now, this is taxpayers' money.
This is what I joined the force
stolen
for.
from us by people who
We'll
think
force
we're
some more
above the
action.
law.
No.
Clerk to the
Nicking and scroats.
justices has
That's what I do
targeted
best.
several hundred fine defaulters. 400 warrants have therefore been issued by the court.
394.
394, thank you, Bob. Now, our objective is to execute these warrants. The court will sit until midnight if necessary, so don't hold back. Mr. Brownlow is gold, Sun Hill. I'm silver. Sergeant Malloy will lead the TSG support unit. Sergeant Cryer's written the briefing paper, so he'll talk you through it. Bob?
Thank you, sir. Right. Each unit has an itinerary for arrests. Now remember, the idea is to come down hard on those who least expect it. But let's use a little bit of that up there. We don't want a riot on our hands, do we?
Any action's fine. Right to do me nicely.
Each pile has been allocated to one of the units.
Good briefing, that, Bob. I'm very pleased.
Yeah, well, let's hope we get through the day without any major cock-ups.
Look, don't let this go to your head, but I know Mr. Brownlow thinks you've done all right as duty sergeant.
Well, I've given it my best shot. That's all I can do.
I think it's past its sell-by date.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Sergeant Peters?
Yes?
I'm Diane Taylor, the new admin manager.
Oh, hello, Mum. You've come about the lock?
Yes, call me Diane.
Yes. Would you like to come this way? Stamp.
Mind the,
Apparently, it jammed last night. They had to double up prisoners in another cell.
Sorry. It's not just a bit stiff, is it?
No, it's jammed. We're going to need it fixed this morning.
Well, maybe by this afternoon.
No, Diane, this morning. I'm going to need that cell. In an hour or so's time, all hell's going to break loose here.
21A, Farringdon Place. He was arrested for possession of a quantity of cannabis, fined £200 over 3 months.
Makes you laugh, doesn't it? What's the point of fining people when they won't pay up?
Or maybe he can't pay.
Listen, Sarge, can you spare me? I want to go and check my overtime in Sergeant Cryer's office.
Sure, go ahead. You got much owing?
Yeah, a bit. Well, you know, Sergeant Cryer looks after his own.
I doubt that, Tony. A duty sergeant has to be impartial. I would have been if I'd taken the job.
Yeah, of course you would, Sarge.
What are you smiling at?
Wasn't smiling, Sarge. I'm firm but fair. That's you, isn't it?
Don't give me that guff.
Still prefer Sergeant Cryer. At least he didn't spend all day sitting on his backside like Sid used to.
Different officers have different styles. Strawberry jam sandwich, Hollis. Oh, yeah. Come on.
Come on, June.
Yeah, it's the basement flat. Is the rest of the house unoccupied?
Probably just messy. You fit?
Ready when you are. Riot shields?
I don't think so, Ben.
There is a bell.
Is your name Leonard Gregor?
Who wants to know?
Sergeant Maitland from Sunhill Police. Is your name Leonard Gregor?
Come on, Lane, don't be silly. Open up. It is Lane, isn't it, Ben Gregor?
Yeah. I've got a warrant for your arrest.
No, you can't do that. I've been to court.
I've got a warrant for your arrest for the non-payment of fines imposed by the courts on the 22nd of last month.
I shall be taking legal action. You do know that, do you?
In the car, please. We got a schedule.
This is not a council estate.
Quiet, please, sir. In the car.
Go on, here you go.
You taking me to the police station?
Be quiet, will you? We've got a busy day.
Well, what if I pay my fine? Will you let me go?
You've already been asked to pay the fine. You said no.
Well,
just tell it to the magistrate.
Let's get in there, drag him out.
Hold on. Shouldn't we get some backup? We're not exactly short of TSG support, are we?
Soft. We can handle it.
Oh,
I'm not sure about this, Steve.
He's in there, isn't he? His mum said.
Yeah, but from here, look, it's a bit borderline, isn't it, eh? Potentially inflammatory situation and all of that. Look, I reckon we should either get back up or wait till he comes out.
Lost your bottle, George?
No, it's not that. Steve!
Your name Tony Laramie? Yes or no?
Yeah? What's it to you?
You're nicked. I have a warrant for your arrest
Your
for the
mate hasn't
non-payment
paid his
of a
court
fine
fine,
imposed by the
OK? So we have to pull him in.
magistrate.
Have you got fines, you've got to pay them, right? Well, yes or no? OK. Enjoy the rest of your games.
No problem.
Don't you ever do that to me again!
Leave it. Let's just drop this one off and press on, eh?
Now move some of these prisoners out, Hollis. Hollis! Where's Hollis? Hollis!
Sarge, here I am, Sarge. What's your problem?
Look, where's this bus you were talking about? I can't have my custody area as full as this.
Well, it's due any minute, I think.
Attempted theft of a motor vehicle, Sarge. We caught him in the act at the junction of Barlow Street.
Use one of the interview rooms then.
They're both in use, Sarge.
The snooker room.
Why don't you use the incident room?
The snooker room, Reg.
Sarge. OK, come with me, you lots.
Sarge, can we book this body in?
In a minute, wait your turn.
We'll wait all day if we wait behind this lot.
Won't take that long. Oh, won't it? I've got an AVH from last night that ain't caught yet.
Come on, Sarge.
Holding up, Alec. The bus is here.
Oh, good. Kathy, go and fetch Hollis, will you?
Sarge.
I need a slash.
You can use one of the cells, but point at the bowl, all right?
Chaos, isn't it?
I wouldn't say that.
Name.
What's up, George? You're not sulking, are you?
Is it left or right? Steve, wake up. Left or right?
Left.
Cheers.
It's only a wall.
I'm sorry, sir.
Look, tell me who I talk to.
1 minute, let's do
Who
this.
do I talk
Next minute,
to?
let's do that. Still can't complain. I suppose it could be worse. I could be in your room.
How are you shaping up?
Oh, don't ask me, Sarge.
Good man.
Are you in charge here?
What is it?
Look, I think there's been a mistake. I was involved in a civil dispute.
Were you sentenced by the courts?
Unfairly. I knocked down my neighbour's wall, but I was well within my rights.
Not interested. Hollis, are you sure what you're doing with these charge sheet and warrants?
Oh, yes, no sweat, Skip. I've got the system down pat.
Well, just make sure you are, because I don't want to go losing any prisoners, right?
Don't worry about that.
Right, can we have a bit of quiet here and get a line up?
Sarge, yeah,
Just a moment. No, I'm in a line. Can you keep them straight here?
Half of this lot should be on fire.
Harrison!
They should be banged up.
Yeah, well, that's not the way the game's played anymore, is it? So what's the problem?
We got a shy one. Doesn't want to leave the station.
What's this then? The heavy mob?
Mr. Roper,
Yeah?
my name is PC Garfield from Sun Hills Police Station. I have a warrant.
You've got the wrong address, pal. I haven't pulled a job in months.
I have a warrant for your arrest for the non-payment of a fine imposed upon you by the courts.
Fine? I don't remember any fine.
Reckless driving. You clipped a traffic bollarn.
You're whining me out. You can't nick me for this.
Yes, we can. In the car, please.
You're out of order. You can't pull me in off my own doorstep for some petty little driving offence.
Neighbours will laugh, will they? You done for anything less than GBH?
I forgot to pay it, that's all. I forgot.
Silly.
Now, don't be stupid. How much was it? I'll pay it. Go on, how much was it?
£300, Mr. Roper.
Right, it's Wallace. Got a Wallace?
Yeah.
Right. There you go. Warrant, charge sheet, fax. Right, Harper, I got a Harper.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Are you all right, sir?
No, I'm not. No, I've changed my mind. Can I pay the fine?
No, you can't. Wait till we get to court, right? They mess up my system.
You do take credit cards, don't you?
That'd be ridiculous.
Can we stop at a cash point?
I'm Sergeant Cryer. What's your name? We're going to need this cell in a moment, you know. Can't have you clogging it up.
Is he all right, Skip? Medically, I mean.
Yeah, he just likes being in a cell. We'll slam the door and leave him here for a week.
No.
That got your attention, didn't it? But don't panic. Just tell me what your problem is and we'll see what we can do.
I don't want to go back to court. Please, just let me go home.
Hope we have a bit more luck this time.
It's Goodwin the pay up, Steve. That's the whole idea.
Nah. Takes the fun out of it. Still looking for a ruck, me.
Dave, we executed 6 warrants, 2 not at home, so we dropped them a little note, and 4 elected to pay on the spot.
Once we'd walked them down the road to the cash booth.
All right, look, let me have the money first.
£600 in all.
Give or take the odd £5.
What's that then? Somebody break into their gas meter?
Don't ask. You don't want to know. Hurry up, Skip. I've got a schedule to keep to.
Tell your lawyer that you want to speak to the magistrate, and don't forget, tell him exactly what you told me, all right?
Yeah.
Stupid. Well, at least you got him to come quietly.
I conned him. He's rescheduled his repayments twice already. Now, if he tries that again, the courts will think he's taking the mickey. Tough.
Sergeant Peters.
Oh, Diane, yes.
I've spoken to the surveyor's office. We'll have someone from the workshops here by 2 o'clock.
That's a fat lot of use.
That's the
Do
soonest...
you realise how dangerous it is to have a cell without a lock in it? I'm squeezed enough as it is already.
Does it matter? You can lock the door to the cell area. Besides, most of these prisoners are fine defaulters. They're not going to be violent or anything.
You telling me how to do my job?
No.
I've got enough on my plate.
2 o'clock. Call me if there are any more problems.
Alec, she's doing the best job she can.
Stay out of this, Bob.
Oh, shut the fuck, Rick. I'm fed up with you and your moves.
What?
You heard.
Hey, wait! Let's have a chat, shall we?
Yeah, sure, if you like.
Bob, can I get one thing clear?
Go on.
Come into the custody area for a chat by all means, but don't you ever dare talk to me in front of the prisoners like that.
I'm sorry. I was out of order.
Yes, you were.
But then so were you. I don't know what's got into you lately. I've never known you so bad-tempered.
Come on, need you ask? It's bedlam out there.
You used to be able to handle that kind of pressure.
Here we go, having a dig.
I wasn't.
Can't resist it, can you? Anything to make me look small.
Rubbish. But I do think you're under strain. Now, maybe it's that stabbing incident.
That's got nothing to do with it. I was over that a long time ago.
Fine. But you do seem to be acting as if you've got something to prove.
Maybe I have. I mean, it can't help but shake your confidence, something like that.
Well, that's brave of you to admit it.
But I'm not the one who's changed, Bob. You have, and it's a fact. Everyone at Sun Hill says the same.
Don't give me that.
You become a governor's man. Brown-nosing the senior officers, stealing a job here, a job there. Empire building, that's what you've been doing.
It's not true. I've just been keeping myself busy.
Oh, is that what you call it? You write briefing papers for Conway, you do the overtime budgets, you even do the duties for sergeants and inspectors.
And you're afraid I'm going to penalise you? Give you the worst duties, is that it?
That's not it.
Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's jealousy. It's the old green eye. You cannot handle the fact that I'm doing a job that you turned down.
That's not it. You're just not the man I used to know, Bob.
Alec.
Repeat, the Lavender Road area.
Sierra Oscar from 8-5. We'll take that, sir.
Oh, we can forget that. The area is swarming. Let's get on to the next address, eh?
Don't be so gutless. Get a move on.
We've got him.
Sierra Oscar from 8-5. Receiving, over.
Okay, out.
Oh, no!
Oh, yes, sir, there's one other thing.
Yes, Bob?
I was just wondering if... I've lost a train of thought.
Well, send me a memo about it, will you? I must press on, all right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, come in.
Oh,
Yes, Derek.
yes, I'm going over to the court this evening. I could get a breakdown of the results, if you like.
All overtime, Bob. Sounds like a fix.
No, I was going to do it in my own time. It wouldn't...
It's only a joke.
Yes, sir. Oh, Diane, you got a minute? I'm sorry about that business with Alec Peters.
He got out of the wrong side of the bed, didn't he?
Yeah, but my apologies. And you can't really blame him. He is under a lot of pressure.
And I'm not.
Yes, but that's different.
Is it? It's good to see coppers sticking together. Thanks a bunch, Bob.
I didn't mean...
Your name, please.
Look, I've been here long enough. Please let me go,
Out
mate.
of the way, son. I've got work to do.
I've done me youth custody. I've been punished once.
You were given a fine to pay as part of your sentence. You made no attempt to pay it yet.
I have tried, but I can't...
Can you pay it now, then? Yes or no? Obviously, no. I'm sorry, son, I'm running a factory today and you're the sausage.
Look, I don't want to go to court.
Get your mum to pay it, then.
She said she wouldn't.
Let's try again, shall we? Why don't you wait over there? We'll arrange for you to make a phone call.
You've had a word with the traffic sergeant, then?
Yes, Sarge.
I'll get someone to take you back to the station as soon as possible. All right?
Yes, Sarge.
Yes, all right. Keep me informed, thank you.
I just heard the news. How bad is it?
How bad? Embarrassing for us, painful for the boy Garfield ran over.
Oh, unblame Garfield. The TSG let the boy escape. If they'd held on to him...
Was he under arrest when the accident happened?
Well, I assume so, yeah.
Well, it might be worth checking it.
I'm not with you.
Well, if he was under arrest, that means we've got the right to search his possessions. I mean, someone has been told to do that, haven't they?
Why on earth should we want to search the boy's possessions? It's not a crime to get run over.
Well, with respect, we might be able to find out why he was running away, and then it might help our case, should it ever come to court.
In other words, you're looking for ways to make the victim look bad, make us look good.
Yeah.
Covering backsides, in other words.
Yeah.
Very good thinking, Bob.
Andrew.
Oi, get rid of her, all right? Oi, I've done nothing wrong.
Nice to be popular, isn't it?
A parking violation?
A fine was imposed. He wasn't planning to pay it.
Yes, come in.
Garfield's back, sir.
Bob, do you realise what this boy Jeffries was pulled in for?
Yes. Parking on a zebra crossing without insurance, in a car unfit for use. He had his licence endorsed. He was fined 200 quid. So far, the court's received about 16 quid of it. He's been bailed twice and has failed to turn up.
I see.
Obviously, if the boy decides to take civil action, well, we'll just have to deal with that when it happens. But it was a lawful arrest. And apart from that, it's been a very successful operation.
I'm pleased with the operation. That's not the issue.
Well, as for the youth, sir, he has got previous for housebreaking. Now, June Ackland has searched his possessions and finds no evidence that he's gone equipped. But
what?
But the boy normally comes quietly. Then we try and pull him up in front of the beak for a petty offence, and he legs it. What's got into him?
Sit down, George. Steve.
Sir.
Look, it's not my job to investigate the accident, but I do want to know what happened. Now, were you going fast?
No, not really, sir. We were approaching a junction and the boy just ran out at us.
Now, you weren't racing to the scene? You know, urgent call, give it some welly, take the corners in third. Well?
Well, the thing is, we had words over it, George and me. I mean, he thought I was being a bit over the top about these fine defaulters. So when the shout came through, I told him to put his foot down and he wouldn't. I got a bit cheesed off about it, actually.
And then you approached the junction?
Yeah, slowly.
And he ran out at us, so there's nothing I could do.
No, I appreciate that. I don't take it to heart, George. That's the kind of accident that could happen to anyone.
Yes, sir.
Right. And thanks to both of you.
Nice story, Steve, but I don't remember it happening like that.
Well, helps to embellish it a bit sometimes.
Yeah, when it's appreciated, I won't forget it.
Don't.
I'm not talking about it, all right?
Don't be stupid, Thomas. You've got to talk. Now, why did you run away?
I panicked, didn't I? They all came at me.
But you had the money in your wallet. You could have paid your fine.
How do you know about that? You've got no right to look through my things.
You could have paid your fine. Why take a chance by running away from the police? Where'd you get the money, Thomas? Come on, just a minute, huh? Yeah, all right.
Listen, if I tell you the truth, it weren't my fault, right?
What wasn't your fault?
I never thought he was going to hit her. I wouldn't have gone along if I'd known he was going to do that.
Gonna hit who, Thomas? What happened?
Oh, sir.
How's it going?
Oh, not too bad, sir. 60 prisoners through the system already.
Good work.
Yeah, actually, it has squeezed us with other duties. In fact, we did have a major problem. One of prisoners.
Well, I'm sure you've got it in hand. Andrew. Look, I think we may have something on that boy who got run over. He's put his hands up to an aggravated burglary.
Oh, that leaves us whiter than white, I suppose.
America,
from the very
first ride.
Yeah, I am. Hello, Carl. I'd like a little word with you.
Yeah, well, you don't have to barge in. Don't they teach you manners or what?
Oh, we'll ring ahead next time. That suit you?
Yeah, it would.
I'm DC Carver, this is WDC Martello. I'd like to question you about an incident that happened 2 months ago.
I can't remember that far back.
Oh, you'll remember all right, mate.
You reckon? You don't scare me.
Carl Evans, I'm arresting you on suspicion of aggravated burglary. That's burglary with violence, Carl, a very serious offence.
You still don't scare me.
Sarge, that bus is full now. Shall I take it out? Only Sergeant Peter says I should wait till I'm relieved.
No, you better hang on a bit. Keep him sweet.
Yeah, right, Charles. Ow! I heard you nicked a villain today.
Yeah, I helped a bit.
Oh, well, good to keep your hand in.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice one. Yeah, I've got to say, you really have got what you're saying that.
What do you mean? Get out of here, Hollis.
There's no need to take it out.
OK, Mr Evans. I'd now like to ask you some questions about an assault on Elsie Mitchell that happened a couple of months ago. You have been cautioned. You've chosen not to have a solicitor present.
Ask away. I've got nothing to hide.
Did you know Elsie Mitchell? She lived in Addis Avenue, 72 years old, a small lady, friendly with the kids in the area.
Yeah, I know her. Of course I know her. Everybody knows her.
Well, some people thought she had a lot of money in her house. Did you ever hear anything about that?
No, not me. But obviously some yobbo from the estates found out. You can't trust the kids round there.
So you didn't do it then? You didn't rob her?
No. Why would I do a thing like that?
And I suggest you did rob her.
No, not true.
You robbed her, then you beat her up so badly she spent a month in hospital.
I couldn't do a thing like that.
You and your associate, Thomas Jeffries, broke into her house. You took the money from her desk. When you saw her asleep in the chair, you decided you better take no chances and beat her repeatedly about the head with a set of brass knuckles.
Rubbish. You're making this up.
You said, she's a dozy cow, we better not take no chances.
No, I never.
You took the cash, jewellery and a small clock.
No, I didn't. And even if I did, well, where is it then? You didn't find nothing in my house, did you?
You took the valuables and you hid them on a patch of waste ground behind Canley Fields.
How do you know that?
You admit you did the burglary.
Someone's grasped on me, haven't they?
You robbed Elsie Mitchell, then you beat her senseless, didn't you?
No, I didn't. Look, who's propped me up for this? Was it Jeffries?
He has made a statement, yes.
I believe it.
Would you get the knuckle dusters, Carl?
Off a mate.
Why did you hit her?
Look, I never said I did.
You said you got some knuckle dusters, though.
Did I? Yeah, all right, then I did, but I never hit the old crow. Look, I am not admitting anything.
Well, you don't have to, mate. You see, your friend Jeffries has given us all we need. It's not your lucky day, is it?